It's a great day. My name is Che Brown, the happy entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission really is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this episode, we have the one and only Dawn Love. She's in the building, and she'll be talking about embracing change as you're going through transitions in life. What's going on, Dawn? How are you?
Hey, Shay. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me. Everything is going great.
Good. Well, I'm glad that you're here. Now, I know the topic, and people can Google you. They'll be looking at trying to read your bio. Somebody might already be on your website and all that. But before we talk about who you are, we're talking about embracing change. And the first question that I have is, in today's time, why are folks struggling to embrace change when they really don't have a choice? I mean, I'm just curious. Why are they struggling these days? What's holding people back?
Well, I want to say it this way. Let's put it this way. There's two things that can shake us to our core, right? Because these two things, this change and transition, it redefines who we are, and it also tells us where we're headed. I mean, it can be the end of a relationship, a shift in your career, or simply life pulling you in an unexpected direction, right? And so change and transition, it can feel uncomfortable and even downright scary. But here's the thing, it's where the growth happens. It's in those messy and in those uncertain moments that we have the opportunity to rise to the occasion where we get a chance to rediscover ourselves, and we can create something new. And so that transition is the piece that bridges between where we've been and where we're meant to go. And so it's not always smooth, but it's necessary. And so that's why people struggle, because like I said, life is pulling you in that unexpected direction that you didn't know that was around the corner.
I understand. That makes a whole lot of sense. And let's peel the onion if we can. I know one of your areas is a specialty. You specialize in a lot of areas when embrace change. Is folks who've gone through a divorce, or they're a divorced woman and they have children. Now, if you're listening, you too, whether you're divorced or you're going through a breakup or you're going through a relationship challenge, I'm sure this is going to help you as well. But take a moment and talk to the women out there who are going through divorce or already divorced and they have children and the change is tough for them. Give us why they may be struggling. And then if you don't mind, just one or two ideas. Now, anyone else, if you're happy and so what, you're going to get some value. Don't worry. I'm going to ask her how she can help you as well. But talk to that woman out there that's watching right now that showed up for this number one reason.
Well, let me just start off by just kind of telling you a little bit about my background. I'm actually a certified personal development coach. I'm an author and I'm a speaker, and my passion is helping divorced single moms navigate those tough transitions in life. I help them reclaim their independence and, step into their power with confidence and grace. Why do I do this? Well, let me just tell you why. Number one, I've lived it. I know how hard it can be as a divorced single mom. I've experienced firsthand that tough and sometimes overwhelming and sometimes that often lonely path that so many women walk. And I faced the struggles, the financial uncertainties, the emotional highs and lows, the weight of raising three young boys on my own, and the challenge, basically just the challenge of rediscovering who I was, when life changes in a blink of an eye. And so I think that through all of this, I found my strength, I found my resilience, I found my purpose, because no woman should face these challenges alone. Back in 2010, when my divorce became final, I didn't have that sense of community. I didn't have that group of people that shared, being a single mom, being a divorced single mom in this world. And so I just believe that creating that support system, creating that community, to me, it's like a movement, and a place where women can, come, they can come and share with me their pain and transform their lives.
You share a little bit about your backstory, which was very important, and I certainly appreciate that. Change for the other
Hmm.
individual that is maybe going through a change, and maybe is applicable in their job.
Hmm.
Maybe they're going through a change of life. My doctor calls it a rites of passage, by the way. After I go back, says, Jay, there's another rites of passage. I'm like, no, no, this is change. You want to do what now? So here's
Hmm.
just the question for the person who's watching, saying, hey, Shay, if she could give one, two, or three ideas. I know it's a loaded question because people are at different places, different spaces. What are three things that someone can do when they've had a resistance to change to allow them to be more open to it?
Well, I think one of the things they have to think about is first overcoming their challenge, right? you know i I'm the type person, I want to help them build their confidence. I want to empower them to set their boundaries, teach them the importance of saying no to things that drain them and say yes to what fuels their growth, right? And then also basically helping them build their confidence when they're trying to overcome these challenges, right? A lot of times we feel broken, from a lot of the change and the transition that we go through. But I'm here to help them realize that they are stronger than they know. I'm here to help them tap into their inner resilience, set these small, achievable goals that they can work towards. So basically, just empowering them to set their boundaries, help them, build their confidence, and just basically, you have to have some practical tools when you're embracing change in transition, right? We there's so many resources out there that help you with change and transition. In my book, Embracing Change, Trusting God Through the Transitions of Life, I also talk about how there's prayer, there's meditation, there's fasting. Those are different tools that you can use to actually use when you're going through the change and the transitions of life.
And you talked about how we struggle to say no. Thanks for sharing. Good answer, by the way.
Mhm.
And I know sometimes I feel guilty, and maybe you're going to help us with. And this is not a Shea Brown on the couch moment, ladies and gentlemen, but maybe I'm the only one. So I'll just ask the question: when you say no, you feel like sometimes that you want to do it, but there's other priorities. And I guess
Right.
I'll ask the question this way: what do you say to the person that's listening right now and feel like, man, I feel like I'm taking care of everyone else because I always say yes, but I struggle to say no so I can make sure I take care of myself. I'll say it like that. So the question, what do you say to the person struggling just to say no and they feel guilty about it? I'll say it like that.
Let me tell you this: whether we know it or not, no is a complete sentence. No is a complete sentence. No, period. It's a full, complete sentence. And so there's certain ways that you can do, you can say no without feeling guilt, but you can actually say it with confidence. Like, you have to be clear and direct. You don't have to explain or justify, a simple, unfortunately, I'm not able to commit to that right now. Unfortunately, that's not going to work with me. Keep it short, keep it sweet. Your no is your no, and you shouldn't feel guilty about it. Again, another thing you can do: don't apologize. You're not doing anything wrong by saying no. It's about honoring your own needs and your own priorities. So you have to skip the I'm sorry, because a lot of times I've been there, be like, no, I'm sorry. No, no, no. You have to stand firm in your response, or you can offer alternative, kind of, if you want to kind of soften it, like, if you want to, if you feel the need to soften the blow, you can offer an alternative, like, I can't help with that, but I can recommend someone that can. or maybe next time I can when my schedule opens up. And so when you say no, let your no be your no, let your yes be your yes. So, and you can stand firm and yet be kind to people. Of course, people may give you some pushback, but again, like I said, no is a complete sentence. You can say it with kindness, but you can also say it with conviction. So you've got to protect your time. You've got to protect your energy to, continuously to be the best version of yourself. So saying no isn't about shutting people out. It's about making space for what matters most in your life. And so it's a powerful tool in setting boundaries.
I love it, by the way. And, a good question, I think, before we get a little more into a couple more steps is a number of folks who are watching this right now, they're dualpreneurs, a good part of our audience. They work a full-time job and they're a full-time entrepreneur. Some of them
Hmm.
are husbands, some of them are wives, some of them in relationships. Many of them take care of their kids. Some of them are caregivers like myself. They're taking care of family members. Some of them are involved in activities. They're involved in their faith community. Somebody listening right now is saying, Shay, I'm checking all the boxes. So my question to her, Shay, is what is she what's her thought, I'll say that, around being able to prioritize and not feel so overwhelmed, because it's not the change, it's the constant things they've got to check and do on a daily basis and all the hats they're wearing. So
Exactly.
here's the question directly. How do you manage overwhelm and not feeling too stressed when you have so many obligations going on?
Yeah. And I'm going to share with you, I am one of those people, right? I'm one of those people that work a full-time job, and I'm also an entrepreneur trying to get my business going as well. And so, I mean, juggling my personal life and entrepreneurship, I mean, it's like juggling a thousand things at once. But what I've realized is that you can thrive in both areas, right? You have to set the right priorities, and you have to strike the right balance. And so it's really crucial to define when it's time for business and when it's time for your personal life, right? You have to create those work hours that protect your time and your family and your self-care and your rest. And so when you're off the clock, be off the clock. No emails, no client calls. Your personal life, what I'm learning is that my personal life, it deserves my full attention, right? It is just like I put my all in my regular corporate job and my entrepreneurship. My personal life deserves my full attention too. So I've been one to prioritize self-care, right? Because I've learned you can't pour into an empty cup, you know, right? So you have to make sure you're taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, spiritually, again, whether it's that morning prayer, whether it's workout, or whether it's just quiet time with your favorite book, carving out me time should be non-negotiable. And so this fuels you to kind of show up strong in every area of your life. And you have to find that you have to find that balance. In fact, I'll share a personal story with you. Around my house, I love to sit out on my deck, but sometimes when it's raining, I can't sit out there. So what do? I go and I put an awning over it, right? So I can sit out there even in the rain, listening to the rain, getting that me time in, even if it's like 30 minutes. So you have to find what works for you. So, and like I said, you cannot pour from an empty cup. Another thing you can do is basically delegate, outsource. You know, I'm one of those people that have always done it all by myself, right? And I think one of the hardest things for me has always been to ask for help. And so I have learned in this entrepreneurship journey that you don't have to do it all, right? In both your business life and your personal life. And so you can delegate tasks that don't need your immediate attention, whether it's kind of like hiring a virtual assistant, like an admin. And, sometimes I even ask my sons when I'm trying to do content, because sometimes my sons are better at content than I am. They have a way with their phones of, editing my little videos. So, it's like it's a team effort. I'm going to find help, whether it's from my sons or, whether it's anyone. It's okay to delegate, and it's okay to outsource. And so be present also. When you're with your family, be fully present with your family. When you're working, be present in your working. It's not about multitasking. It's about being intentional with your time in both areas. And, use some time blocking. Time block like a pro. That time blocking helps you manage both worlds efficiently, right? And so you dedicate like specific chunks of time for work. You dedicate specific chunks of time for family. You dedicate specific chunks of time for relaxation. So when you time block, you're more focused. Because I've noticed in the past, some days I work from home and I'm at work, and then I may go over to my little entrepreneurship, and then I'm thrown off because I'm trying to do two things at one time. No, let your focus be your focus. Whatever you're focusing on in that moment, if it's work, let it be work. If it's your entrepreneurship journey, let it be your entrepreneurship journey. And then also, one last thing, I'm sorry, I want to share is
No,
give
go
yourself
ahead.
grace. Give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. Again, I am one of the hardest people. We are always hardest on ourselves. Why? Because we demand perfection. We demand all of these things from us. We want to get it all done. But as I continue down my journey, I have learned to give myself grace. Balance is not about perfection. Some days your business will need more of you, and other days your family will need more of you. Some days your personal life will need more of you. So be flexible and give yourself grace on those things on those days when everything does not go as you planned.
Wow, I love it for the way. Look at that. She said that this is what I do. This is my jam, everybody. But there might be some folks that are listening as you was giving us that great information. They're thinking, wait a minute, Shay, is her life perfect? I mean, is everything always perfect for her? We have a segment here, Don, called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks who tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know what we're about to say. You know what we're about to do. You can even say those magical words. Today is my January 1st. Happy New Year to you. And for all the new folks who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show family. Today is my January 1st. It represents our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start. It represents a do-over. It means our past, no matter how dark and gloomy that past is or how bright and sunny that past is, the past no longer equals the future. And so my question for Dawn on the other side is two parts. Maybe her life's been perfect. We're going to find out. Number one, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And number two, was there ever a setback in your life where things weren't perfect and you had to bounce back from it? If so, what was it and what did you learn?
Oh, today is my January 1st. I hear new beginnings, new journey. I hear all of those good things when I hear January 1st. It's the time to, I don't believe in the resolutions, but I do believe in doing goals. So it's a time to reset new goals. It's a time to start afresh. It's a time to be anew in your thinking. It's a time of reflection on, what are you going to do down the line. So that's what I think of when I think of January 1st. And to answer your second question about perfect, it's so crazy that you asked me that, because I read this book called Breaking Up with Perfect when years ago, prior to my divorce. Well, I'm sorry, right after my divorce. It was called Breaking Up with Perfect. And so when I first read that book, I thought it was a very interesting book, because I was the type person, I always wanted everything to be in order. I wanted everything to be structured. I wanted everything to be one. This is step two. This is step three. This is step four. And so, because I was like that, I would always frustrate myself because things would not be perfect, right? And what I learned is perfection is like this myth that's holding you back from living your best life, right? And I think we've all been there. We've all been trying to keep it together. We've all been there in that place of trying to do everything flawlessly, right? And so even in my motherhood, my business, my life in general, it's just like I have always tried to be perfect in those things. But here's what I've learned about being perfect. It's exhausting, it's truly exhausting. I've also learned that it's unattainable. It's truly unattainable. It's unnecessary. I even did a reel where I did a reel not too long ago, and it's going to be posting on my TikTok page. I did a reel a long time ago where I was at a social media in a social media room, and you can go into the different rooms. And in one of the rooms, they had a telephone hanging up on the wall. And because I was thinking about being perfect, I pretended like perfect was calling me. And so I picked up the phone and I was like, "Hello? Who was this? Is this perfect again? I wish you would stop calling me because today is the day I break up with you." So I started I started talking to perfect, like right there in the face, like, "You will no longer, conquer me. You will no longer exhaust me. You will no longer bring me down. You will no longer hold me back." And so it was crazy that you asked me about breaking up with perfect. But some of the things that I've done to kind of break up with perfect was basically I acknowledge the pressure, right? You got to acknowledge where the pressure to be perfect is coming from. Is it coming from like society? Is it coming from family expectations? Or are you like me? Is it coming from yourself? So I guess once you identify the source, you can start releasing that unrealistic standard, and I've learned over time to embrace my flaws. I had to learn to say, "Girl, you human, you know girl, you are human." And that means you are wonderfully imperfect. Wonderfully imperfect. And so Beyonce has this song, Flaws and All. It's a really good song. And, she's talking about, I guess, how her husband accepts her in all of her flaws. And I think our flaws is what makes us unique, and it makes us relatable, and so we have to stop striving for perfection and just start celebrating the beauty in our growth and our authenticity. Because years ago when I got my divorce, when I tell you, I was so embarrassed, I was so humiliated. It took me to like the lowest point of my life. But what I realized over time, when I began to heal myself, when I began to bring myself out of my rut, I began to embrace who I was. Yes, I'm divorced. Yes, I'm a single mom. Do I want to get married again? Yes. In God's timing, I know it'll happen. But right now, I'm learning to embrace who I am. Learning to embrace the place I'm in. I'm learning to embrace my flaws, and so I have to let go of approval. Everyone else's approval. Sometimes we want the approval of others so bad, and that perfectionism comes from seeking the approval of others. And so what I've learned is you don't need anyone else validation to be worthy or successful. You know, own your journey. Know that your value is not tied um, to how you perfectly perform. And you have to prioritize what matters most to you. You know, your relationships, your well-being, your purpose. You know, you got to let go of the need of doing everything just right and just focus on being yourself. And I find that when I'm myself, that's when I'm relatable. That's when people see my authentic self. And so that's what I have done to basically break up with Perfect. So I hope that helps somebody. So the next time Perfect decides to call you, you'll pick up the phone and tell Perfect to, you know, where to
Hit
get
the
off.
road, Jack, and don't come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack.
Exactly, exactly.
That's what you're going to tell Perfect, and don't come back no more. Talk about embracing
Exactly.
change. Get rid of Perfect, and it makes life a lot easier, doesn't it?
Exactly.
I love it, by the way. We know you get so excited, you get so enthusiastic. What do you enjoy most about what you're doing and helping people embrace change? I mean, you can see your eyes light up. You know, all of a sudden you got this energy and this fire. You're like, I'm ready now. What do you enjoy
Let
most
me
about
tell
what you're
you.
doing these days?
What can I say about why I love what I do? Um, I think I love what I do is because outside of my corporate job, right? I get to wake up every day, whether it's in my corporate job or whether it's in, my entrepreneurship journey of working with divorced women with children. I get to wake up every day and empower somebody, to reclaim their lives, to reclaim their confidence, to reclaim their sense of purpose. I get to help people stop feeling stuck and overwhelmed and stepping into their power, with grace and strength, and letting them realize that they have a reason to live. It's not only about thriving and striving, it's about being here, being present. And I get to love what I do for people, because especially the divorced single moms, is because I've been there. I know what it's like to face the hardest transitions, to wonder if you'll ever feel whole again. you know I also get to, as I work with different people, I get to know the joy that comes from breaking free and in creating a life, again, that's just not about surviving, but thriving, right? Seeing people find that same strength, guiding them to rediscover their independence, just different thing. And so I don't look at my life as just being a coach, being an author, being a speaker. For me, it's a calling. It's a calling that I get to help people rewrite their stories and live life uncompromised. It's an honor to see that. It's an honor to see um, just people supporting each other and realize they are so much more than their struggles. And so, for every transformation, for like every aha moment, everybody gets to step into their greatness. And so when I see them tell their testimonies, or I hear them share their stories, it reminds me that this is what I was born to do. I'm here to help people navigate transitions, but own them, and walk in their purpose. And so that's why I do what I do. And if I think about it, Che, I wouldn't trade it for the world, because I love it.
I can hear it in
Yeah.
your voice. We can feel it through the power of these fiber optic lines right now. It's coming through the energy. So thanks for all that you do. Thanks for being on the Happy
Yes.
Entrepreneur Show. As we come down the home stretch, a two-part question. Number one, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days, if any? And number two, how can folks best connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond the time that you and I have right now?
Yes. So, of course, like I said earlier, my platform is working with divorced single women. Again, I've lived it. I know what it's like. I'm a coach, I'm a speaker, I'm an author. And so I help these young ladies. I work with ages 38 to 58, or, even outside of that age group if necessary. But I work with these young women and I help them rebuild their financial wealth. I help them. Just overcome their challenges, mind, body, and spirit. I help them reclaim their independence. And so those are the different, those are women that I work with now. Those are women that I coach. I create community for them. In fact, my company is called The Unaccompanied Mom. And so that's my nonprofit. I'm going to be having a unaccompanied mom event in December. So I'm going to be looking for about 30 women to help. We're going to be doing a Toys for Tots drive, as well as having some life building strategies and coaching strategies for the moms. And so I'm just excited. I love Like I said, it's a support system, it's a community, it's actually a movement, where these women can come and, come to this community. They can rise above the pain and transform their lives. And so that's who I work with on a day-to-day basis. Where you can find me on Facebook at Dawn Love. You can also find me on Instagram at just Dawn Love as well. All of my social media handles are Dawn Love. And you could just also go to my website. My website is www.justdawnlove, JUSTDAWNLOVE.com. And you can follow me on any of those social media handles. And hey, I'm out there just trying to change one life at a time.
Well, thanks for all you do, by the way. We appreciate you being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We know you can always make more money, but you can't make more time. You're giving us the most precious resource you have, which is your time. So thanks for being on the show. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, Jay.
And thank you for tuning in. Thank you for all the viewers, by the way, because without you, well, we don't have a show, by the way. So we appreciate you showing up. It's really cool when you drop the comments below. We like to respond to every comment. But rather than the comment or the like button, if you get an opportunity for this episode, hit the share button. Like hit that share button. If you're on one of the platforms, you can do that. Pay this message forward to your community. And I never get tired of reminding you every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that no matter what's going on in your life, that you really are special. I know some people think it's hyperbole, I guess they call it, or just some hocus pocus, but it's not. You're special. You're unique. You've got this gift that can make a difference for other people's lives. So you, as you're watching right now, you're important. And I believe no matter what's happening in your life, no matter how well it's going, or maybe been hit with the punch you didn't see coming, I believe today is your January 1st. And because of just that one reason alone, your best is still yet to come. Your best is yet to come. Your best is yet to come. With that being said, my name hasn't changed. Still Che Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone. We out of here. Peace, Don. Talk to y'all later. Bye-bye. Oh, she's smiling. Now it's over. She's smiling. Yeah.